Okay, I've got a similar setup on the front as I had on the back. I've got the wheels on turn plates so that when I make adjustments they can move. I've got the toe in, toe out measuring jig positioned on the back of the wheel, and this is going to be a much bigger measurement because the rims are narrower. So this looks to me to be about 6 13/16. I'm going to write that down. 6 13/16. I don't know how well I had that zoomed in on the rear measurement, so you might have to take my word for it. And I am measuring to the outside of it because it's easier to read it there. I can get a more direct line of sight. And that looks like 6 1/16. So 6 1/16. So that is 12/16 difference. Now, the rear measurement is larger, so that means we've got toe out. Okay, that's part of the equation now. That's 3/4 of an inch. I know that's too much. But now I have to decide which wheel to adjust the most anyways. Maybe they both need adjusted. But I'm going to do it off camera, but I'm going to try and confirm my center line that I have projected on the wall because I jacked the car up in the back to remove the plates and I jacked it up in the front to remove the plates, so it may have moved a little bit. So the center line does not appear to have moved. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I did on the rear. I'll put my laser dot, and that thing's in the way. No, not really. Put my laser dot on there. Yes, it is in the way. Move it down. Get this settled on the rim. Looks like I may have bumped those pads that I had to keep it away from the Okay, we saw it the other day that there's a seam in the chipboard, and the dot is touching that seam to the left side of it. So I'm going to go do that on the other side and give myself a place to measure to from the center line, see which wheel needs adjusted the most. So this is going to be a preliminary measurement, but I can tell already that the passenger side tire is way off to the right compared to the driver's side tire. And I'm going to put that right there. And I'm going to call this 38 3/8. I will write that down. I'll measure the driver's side, and I'm sure it's much, much less than that because of where I had to make the mark. So we're going to call that 35 9/16. Okay, so that tells me something I already had figured out as soon as I saw where those marks were, that right tire, passenger side, in other words, is pointing way to the right. I need to bring it to the left. And the way you do that, since the tie rods are in back of the axle, if you lengthen the tie rod, you are pushing the rear of the tire out away from the center of the car, and therefore the front will aim more towards the center of the car. So I'm going to go under there and see if I can get a camera angle where I can show you the adjustment. I think you can see the tie rod. Maybe not entirely, but when I get under there and start to work with it, you'll see where I'm at. So again, as I said, we've got to move that. We've got to lengthen that tie rod end to move the front towards the center of the car. Now this is where it would have been nice if I would have taken the time to find something to hook up that laser dot to the there's two 1/2-inch clamps. Let me complete one thought first. Hook up that laser dot to the wheel, because then I could just watch it on the wall as I was doing the adjustment. So there's two bands on either end of the tie rod that need to be loosened. so that I can rotate that tie rod on the threads. I want to make sure I get these bands nice and loose so that I'm not fighting them. No way to get a socket in there between the A-frame and the lower control arm A-frame and the tie rod, so I really gotta, no, that's not gonna work because the bolt's spinning on the other side. I need to get a wrench to hold it with. I'll explain why it's not loosening. See if I can get this one on the nut on this side because it's ratcheting, and maybe make this a little quicker. Yeah, that ratcheting one's not going to work very well because it's at an angle. It's going to slip off. So, 2 open ends, or I guess I could use the box end of it. The whole thing wants to spin in the ball joint at the tie rod end wants to spin. And I've got this where I need to move it the other direction. I don't know, but I did, if anything, to these tie rod ends, and tie rods. Maybe I just painted them or something. I don't even think I did that. I think they were in pretty good shape, and so I don't think I did much of anything to them. So, anyways, to save you some time on the video, I am going to shut off the camera. And I'm going to loosen those 2 bands, one at each end, and then we'll be back with the adjustment. Okay, there isn't a flat on it like there was on the struts in the rear. So I'm going to have to use a pipe wrench on this. I'll do it right in the middle like the other one was. And I'm trying to see which way I need to turn this. I think I need to turn it clockwise looking at it, but you know what, I'll give it a couple cranks and see if I see exposed threads. I'm going to put a little paper towel here between the grips of the pipe wrench. The first little movement was just the tie rod ends moving. Okay, finally started to move. And if I look at this now, I'm gonna to look at it with the light here. I believe that is sending it that way. So, see if I can see it from this side with the light. Maybe that's going the wrong way. I've already mixed up the paint on that, so I'd have to get under here with a spray can and mask everything off and give it a quick shot. I thought I would be able to see better clean threads if I was turning it the right way, but I really can't. Yeah, maybe on this side I am seeing clean threads. Actually rusty threads as it turns out, but and I think I'm turning it the wrong way again. Now my idea here is if I can get the tires pointing at the same distance from the center line, then I can adjust each the same number of turns to adjust the toe in, toe out without impacting anything. So let me find my level and see how we've impacted where this is pointing. And I'll have to adjust the camera for that so you can see what we've done. So hopefully I can put that up there without getting in the way. Before, if you recall, the dot was right near that heavy line that is actually the seam between two of the pieces of chipboard. It was just to the left of that. So hopefully I'm not getting in the way. Whoa. It's going the wrong direction. I need to pull it in. I'm I'm going to take a quick look at the other side. It should not have moved because I didn't touch anything over there, but I'm just going to make sure that it hasn't. And it hasn't. So, I gotta check my logic here. If I was pushing the back into the tire out, that should move it the other direction. Did I have a bad measurement before? Okay, it's about a ½ inch to the right of that line. I'm going to keep going in the same direction and see if it moves it further in that same direction. And if it does, then I'll know for sure I have to go the other way and my logic is faulty, but I can't see why my logic would be faulty. I have let me look at this. Oh, hold on. Hold on, I must have been turning it the wrong way because now I'm not seeing clean threads here. So maybe it's not my logic that's faulty. Maybe it's my direction in turning it. And I was turning it clockwise, I believe. It's easy to get confused under here. I'm turning it clockwise now as it points to the, as I'm looking at the tire. And let me put that pointer up there again real quick because I think that is the wrong direction. I think I need to be turning it counterclockwise. Yep. I need to turn it counterclockwise to lengthen that arm. Hope you saw that. Gonna go back in under the, look at the tie rod. And this time, I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. At least all this turning that's making it easier to turn.
what I'm looking for here now to make sure that I'm going the right direction is to see some of the rusty threads come out on this side. And I am. Okay, I'm gonna go here just to confirm, and I've left the wrench on in the way, you know, a pipe wrench will only turn it in one direction because it's got to be hooking up to it. So let's see, and again, I hope you can see these. I hope my arms aren't in the way. If they are, there's nothing much I can do about it. But oh yes, that brought it considerably in. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a more accurate measurement on the other side, and I'm just going to work with the center. Now, I will measure the driver's side, and I will measure on this side and make a mark, and that's going to be my target for where it's pointing. Then when they're equal, an equal amount of turns on each side, we'll adjust the toe without adjusting the center line or the aim of the car. Okay, so I made an accurate measurement of the left-hand side, and then I accurately placed this piece of black tape so that this edge of it should be the center of the dot. Okay, so now what I will do by trial and error or whatever is I will go under there, and I hope you can see that because we're pretty close right now. I just need to move it over just a hair, but I will, let me try to do just one turn and see what that does for us. Okay, we still want to go in that same direction, so I'm going to go, it's really about a quarter of a turn. And that should have brought it over a little bit. We'll see how much a quarter of a turn does. Ooh. That looks like that is pretty doggone close. I'm going to give it just a hair more. Oh, I hope my eyes aren't deceiving me, because I'm going to go like about, oh man, hardly any hardly any, because I'm just trying to move it a very minute fraction. Okay, given that the distance from where this laser is being shot to that wall is going to amplify or magnify the angle, I think that is about dead on. So now we've got them lined up. Let's again check our toe in, toe out. Okay, we're going to measure the distance on the front. It should be different from what it was before we started this adjustment by, I think, quite a bit. I'm trying to get my head under it to get as accurate a measurement as I can. And I'm going with about 6 7/16. I'll write that down. And one of the things I have to do is find out what my spec I'm shooting for is, because I need that. So I'm going to shut this off and move the measuring jig to the rear of the rim. Okay, we're set up to measure the rear. Keep in mind that I don't know exactly what the specs are just yet. I have to look them up again. I looked them up before, but I am going to call this 6 9/16. Okay, so we had 6 7/16 on the front and 6 9/16 on the back. So the measurement in the back was larger, which means that we still have toe out, just a little bit. So I'm going to have to loosen the other tie rod end and turn it. So in the meantime, I'm going to look at the spec and see what I'm shooting for. I don't know. I was talking and the camera wasn't on. I'm going to go over it again. Maybe I'll delete one of those clips. But I'm looking at the Van Steel specs for the rear end that I bought with the coilover suspension. And on the front it says toe is 0 to 0.132 degrees total out. Total toe out. So this may be good. I don't know. I need to get a conversion chart or something that says what that difference is in inches. But my total toe out was 2/16 of an inch. So if that's the total, then with both of the wheels pointing equidistant from the center line, that means that it's 1/16 of an inch on each side, each wheel. So if that 0.132 degrees falls within 1/16 of an inch, then this is good for a track setting, and I intend to do some autocrossing with the car when I'm done to see how it handles. And I'm totally fine if the tires wear a little quicker, because I'm not going to put that many miles on them to wear them out before they'll be needing to be replaced due to age. So for now, I'm going to leave this where it's at, and I'm going to go do some more research, find out what that 0.132 is, or if I can find another thing that says what the toe in or out should be in inches, and we'll go from there. But that'll be another day.